Welcome to today's episode of CIFF Media, where we'll be talking a bit to Resteröds and tex.tracer to talk about, the finding between brands and technology in order to see how that can fuel both growth, but also transparency and other good things in the fuel for success going forward. So today we're here with Jolanda from tex.tracer and from Frank from Resteröds.
Thanks for having us.
Lovely to have you.
Thank you.
Welcome. So I'm thinking we just kick it off with a small sort of introduction just to get people to get a feeling of who you are, what you do. And maybe we'll start with you, Frank. For obviously not everybody necessarily knows Resteröds. A lot of people in Scandinavia do.
Yeah,
but for the people outside, maybe you can just give a brief introduction to the brand.
Absolutely. Well, as I said, I hope many people are familiar with the brand, obviously. It's actually been around since 1935.
Yeah.
But was acquired by JBS Textile Group in 2010. And it's now a part of JBS Textile Group. So the brand is, I would say, a sophisticated men's streetwear brand with the roots deeply planted in the Scandinavian heritage. Aiming to deliver a basic concept with a twist of street to the European market. That's basically Resteröds in very, very short words.
Yes. And how about if you were to put a few more words on sort of the identity of the brands and how it really stands apart from other brands, and also maybe just touch upon what your key clients are or or customers are.
I mean, what we strive to do is we have this mantra called more than you expect.
Yes.
And it kind of digs deep into everything, whatever is the design, the width of the collection, how we work with our suppliers, our partners, our customers. We're never satisfied. We're always evolving. We always want to aim higher. No matter what we're talking about, whatever is in investing in technology, investing in people that can help us going in the right direction. We have the roots in JBS in own production. So a lot of our core values come from being an own production facility. So we don't go for the quick fix. We very highly value the recipes of a garment. So we just don't bring a garment to market just to bring a garment to market. We need to know quite a lot before we bring it to the market. We need to have a good gut feeling about it when we bring a product to market. The products are aimed to the European market, mainly. Men, obviously, age group 28 to 45. Men who is style conscious, sophisticated, want like what do you call it? A wardrobe that can be styled up and down. An essential wardrobe with a twist of fashion. But we're not going high fashion. We're only bringing 2 collections to the market a year. And that's we do that because we think our products are long-lasting pieces. We don't have the need to bring something new every month or every 2 months. I will not promise that we won't bring in an express collection once in a while, but yeah. So yeah.
Interesting, and that's also very much in touch with the sort of the conscious approach to brands and the way to go about the future, which also is also why I'm assuming the partnership with tex.tracer has also emerged. So maybe Jolanda, you can just in simple terms, because technology can be a bit difficult for some people to catch and get. Maybe you can just in simple terms explain what it is tex.tracer actually does.
Yep, absolutely. Now, as you mentioned, indeed, tech is often becomes or quite quickly becomes not just difficult, but also because of that probably boring. But I love what we're doing, and as a tech partner for Resteröds and JBS, but also many other customers, we basically help with our platform to get insight into the production chain, supply chain of products, so that we know beyond the contractual partner in the supply chain, which other partners are also involved in the production of a garment, all the way from raw material to finished product. And the idea is that once we have collected data about the product, that we can verify that data so that customers can work with that data to improve their supply chain. And because in the end, we'd like to see a better fashion ecosystem.
Yes.
By using all that data for advancement of the industry.
Yes. So at its core, what was the exact sort of supply chain problematic that you were aiming to solve when tex.tracer sort of got created?
Yeah. Well, basically, like Frank, I've been in this industry for a long time, almost unfortunately, but I've had a great time. We both have a background in China as well.
Yeah.
And working with supply chains, I've come to realize that we have quite a problem, and I wanted to be part of the solution for that problem, and started to look at how can we improve the social well-being of workers in the supply chain and improve the environmental impact, so lower emissions in all kinds of ways. And by doing that, people often look at certifications, so that, for instance, the consumer can see, oh, there's a great logo on a hang tag, so it should be okay. And whilst that is, of course, really great to do, I said, I think we need to go deeper to really understand what the supply chain is about and create verified supply chain insights. Yeah. Because only if you do really that, you can really have a proper dialogue with suppliers and improve supply chains.
Yes.
And we're just having a conversation about this kind of examples as well, both at JBS and other companies, where you see that once you dive deeper into a supply chain, you can actually really start to make a difference.
Yes, interesting. And Frank, from your perspective, or for JBS's perspective and Resteröds, what sort of motivated the idea behind going out and finding a partner such as, which then became tex.tracer?
Yeah, but kind of what I touched in the beginning is that we come from this own production background.
Yeah.
JBS Textile Group is still a family-owned company, indeed. We had their own production in Herning, in Midtjylland, not too long ago. So it's always been key for the family that we know our partners. So it's actually in our roots. But now JBS Textile Group is much more than just JBS. Back in the days, it was easy. We had 2-3 factories to keep track on that. Now we have 20 plus brands doing a bunch of private label. With that, acquiring new companies, we take over supply chains. With all of that, we needed something to help us keep track on our suppliers. You can set up a lot of rules, a lot of go-arounds in every day to try to, get a better idea of who you're working with. But there's many ways around it. As Jolanda just touched, I have lived in China myself for plus 10 years, been at the factories every day. And there's a bunch of ways to, I will not say cheat, but in some way manipulate the buyers in just getting them what they're asking. And we always had this feeling that we need to be aware. We need to, with our gut feeling, know that we think we know everything. We know we don't, but we need to try to know everything. And the world is just getting more and more complicated, more and more complex. So we needed tools, we needed tech to help us instead of all these Excel spreadsheets.
Yes.
So tex.tracer is just the recent partnership we have joined in gathering data.
Yes.
I think that's kind of like the motivation behind tools that can help us gather information to take better decisions in the future.
Yes.
For myself, I have a pretty good idea about the majority of our supply chain, but we're also getting bigger. We are hiring more designers, more product developers, more buyers, and it's really hard to spread out the knowledge and the information to all of them.
Of course.
So we need tech again to help us to bring out the baseline for when do we onboard a factory and what do we look for.
Yes.
So something to share information and make sure, as you say with the green logo, the green logos have some rules that you need to follow. You cannot just put green logos on and then it's sustainable, right? But it's really hard to spread out in an organization. What are the exact rules? So we would love some barriers to say like, okay, so once we put on a green logo, at least we have a system that can make sure that every step in the supply chain is certified with the green logo.
Yes.
It's an interesting one because I guess as well with greenwashing that you want to avoid, of course.
Yeah.
It's becoming more and more important.
And I mean, no one is doing it because they want to cheat. But sometimes you can ask a supplier, is it possible to get this organic or recycled? And say yes. And you're like, great. Then we do that.
Yeah.
And because they don't have the knowledge behind what do I need to check? What do I need to verify? And if you're one buyer in one company, you can do it.
Yes.
But when you have to spread it out on 20 people, then it becomes hard.
Yeah.
So have a system that can validate that our factory suppliers are always up to date with the right certifications. It's really crucial for us now.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
And to dig a bit deeper than that, it's also for me to, when my buyers are choosing which factory should we develop this certain style with, you can look at, do they have a social audit? Great. Do they have the necessary certificate? Great. But the models all have that. So then it becomes a matter of price or lead time. But I would love to add to that level, say like, what is the energy source? We're trying to impact as many factories as possible to get renewable power, solar power, for example. But where can we see it? Where do we keep that data? How do I make that public to my buyers? That this factory actually have solar power, this one have black power, or what do we call it? Just an example.
Yeah.
So to get a system where I can collect all this data to take better decisions, not necessary to use it for marketing or anything, but just in general try to create a better
ecosystem in a way, right?
Yeah.
And I think what I
and to lower the emission.
What I hear you say all the time is like also it's not just about compliance.
No.
This is very much about innovating, future-proofing your business, and as JBS really standing for your values, and that is having that insight and being able to continue to stand by those values.
Absolutely. Obviously, the legislation have pushed a lot of it, but it's not the motivation behind what we're doing, because legislation is just something you need to comply with.
Yeah.
But so we want to go deeper than that. We want to make a purpose. Now I use the solar power example. We could also talk the dye houses. That's where the biggest impact come from. And just to know that, okay, this dye house have these machines using so much water per ton. This one have this one. Being able to know that and then take decisions based on that. Like maybe it's okay that it costs 1-2% more over here, because then we take a better decision. So yeah, it's just about gathering data and make it public to my team, so they can take better decisions, and it's not just a social audit and a green stamp and then we go ahead.
Makes sense. And looking at, this is obviously a very data heavy sort of approach, and obviously that the necessity becomes that the data obviously gets validated.
Yeah.
But how does that work with tex.tracer in order to actually validate and verify that the product and supply chain data is actually what it is?
Well, this is where it becomes boring, so I'll keep this short. Thinking about CIFF visitors, of course, we have a lot of retailers, I guess, that are also probably listening. And I guess in the end, for them, it's about looking at the Resteröds collection and thinking, oh my God, I love this and I want to sell it and my consumers will like it. That's, I guess, the most important. And at the same time that they can... What we'd like to make sure is that they can rest assured that the product is right and that it will do what it promises to do. And next to that, we'll be helping JBS to get most reliable data. And I would say CIFF exhibitors, like other brands as well. But so what we do is we start with collecting data from the primary source, which means all the suppliers in a supply chain, by connecting with them via our platform. And that's starts off with emails, webinars that they get invited to, where we share our joint goal and targets. And from there, we gather information, and the information that is uploaded, all kinds of evidence points confirming that a supplier is who he is, with pictures of the factory, certifications, but also evidence to confirm that they're a partner in a specific supply chain. That data gets time and geo-stamped, which basically means we know who, where, and when has uploaded data, and we can link that, for instance, geolocation to the confirmed geolocation in a factory account. And then we ask suppliers to basically approve the uploaded evidence from their supplier. So yarn gets delivered by a spinner to a knitting mill. There is a packing list, and that packing list is approved by the knitting mill in our platform. Well, this is the boring bit, so forget it in a way. But
it's a very important bit.
But it's a very important bit
because this can be super data heavy, and there's many solutions out there. And I think we are not a super big company. We are a medium-sized company, but the complexity already in our size of company is massive, and the amount of documentation here, we're talking order lines documentation here. We can't have humans. I can't hire people to do this. So it's super important that you split it up, and the picture, you eat the elephant piece by piece, and you ask your suppliers to help you to do the job. Otherwise, I don't think you can manage.
Yeah.
And more important, what I think was a bit unique with tex.tracer is that it's dynamic. That means like people who know the JBS Textile Group, we have quite a big never out of stock program. That means we have a bunch of repeat orders, but an order we do once is very fine, and we always mostly place it with the same factory or our own factory. But you know that there's components behind that can change,
of course,
based on availability, based on time, based on many, many things. And that can actually change from order to order. Not very often, but it can. So it's super important for us when we chose a partner that we could show this dynamic supply chain. And it's not like okay, this is the picture now and it will remain like that forever, because that's not the truth. Yeah. So when we chose the partner, we were like, it has to be a dynamic partner. Yeah. That can change from time to time.
Interesting.
And it's great because, in all fairness, this is a challenge.
Yes.
Yeah.
But I take that challenge, and this is indeed something that's where also we say, okay, you know what, this is this supply chain. One way or another, if a supplier wants to cheat or cheat the system, you can. Having said that, because of the whole verification process that we have, and make it even more boring, private blockchain, which stores all our data, makes data immutable, and that's where at some point, using big data and algorithms, we can see patterns evolving, and we can see, wait a second, something is happening there which is different from what we saw last month, 2 months ago. Yes. Is that because a supplier indeed switched production of a repeat order, and is that all right because it's an approved factory, or is something not okay? And that's where we can then dive into sending, for instance, a local auditor to check out these kind of things. Well, and I guess again, for retailers listening to this is the boring bits, but rest assured that we will tackle this part to make sure that really
doing our utmost.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And how do you go about, for instance, obviously JBS and Resteröds specifically with the background that you have are probably well suited for a journey like this, but other brands might not be. Yeah. So how do you, tex.tracer, for example, how do you go about ensuring that brands actually integrate this within their operations once they go with you?
Yep. Well, once they choose for us, it's very much about integrating it with their other systems. Well, also that, let's be honest, it's not an easy road. Like we're actually just discussing that, okay, how can we optimize the integration with current systems? And I would almost say we try to do better there every day, and make sure that we have an approach of connecting the right platforms already existing. So that's ERP, PLM, and label suppliers. And that's also why we're part of Tech Create with D-Log and Trimit and ESCM and Fashion Cloud, to make sure that in the end, all these platforms can communicate together. So that is a more easy approach for JBS and Resteröds.
Yes. Very, very clear.
Yeah. But I would say, like, no matter how big you are, how small you are, the key here is obviously ideal if you can find a tech partner. Of course. But the closer you can be with your suppliers, the better. Yeah. And don't punish them for uploading the truth.
Yes.
Work with them.
Yeah.
On finding out why have they taken that decision, and maybe ask them, could there be an alternative?
Yes.
To the decision they've taken.
Yeah.
because once you punish them, you're asking them to find ways around it.
Yes.
In not ideal ways. So just be curious, and
Start an honest dialogue.
Exactly.
Yes. And talking about that from your perspective, seeing as this is obviously a fairly new partnership, how do you see that this can help in order to provide more transparency for your customers and obviously hopefully increase the trust level as well?
I mean, the end goal is, of course, I think what the industry I've heard about is this digital product passport. No one really knows where it's going. But that's not so important for us. For us, it's more about being ready once it's there. And if there is something that can add value to a consumer, a retailer, a key account, then we're willing to do that. Whatever is sharing it online with a QR code, or sharing it on a hang tag, or in a whatever way, then we want to be ready to have the data needed for that. Because we are, to be fair, fairly proud of how much we already know. And we would love to bring our partners, consumers, anyone on that journey to tell them how deep into the detail we actually are. Another thing we haven't touched base on is the transportation.
Yes.
Yeah.
Not to lie, but the majority of all the products are coming from the Far East. We are very much aware of the emission difference from sending it by sea or by air. And that's something also we would love to showcase on a digital product passport, how our products are transported all the way from raw material.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's a long journey to get there.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yes.
So we really love to bring our partners along on the journey.
Yeah.
And share what we know.
Yes.
Nothing is secret.
Yes.
I love also that you're saying here it's a journey, because it's just, I think it's also about taking that first step, and whether that is, for instance, in terms of transparency, supply chains, whether that is starting with an Excel file, or once you've outgrown that Excel file, a proper partner, both is fine. So also for smaller brands, I always love to say, when I started with Excel as well, and I'd love to share that Excel file to anyone who would like to use it, because that can also drive that change in the industry that we'd like to see. But particularly once you grow bigger, then at some point that Excel file gets completely overwhelming, or not even.
Yeah, and once you have to share it with multiple people, then it becomes really, really hard to maintain.
Yeah, exactly.
Especially with all the expiry dates and etc. like that.
Yeah.
But it's.
And you just touched on it quite shortly in terms of the impact on the ecosystem. What is exactly the impact that you hope tex.tracer has on the fashion ecosystem?
Yeah, it's both from an environmental point of view. It's about really reducing emissions, and as Frank already mentioned, it's very much dyeing houses, so the dyeing side and raw material. But even transportation, and if you combine all that together, you can really reduce both CO2 energy as well as water consumption. And on the other hand, also not to forget, it's the social side. So what are the standards, working standards for workers in the supply chain? And then for the last 20 years with, for instance, Amphora BSCI, you're working with as well, the industry has already looked at confectioning factories quite a lot, sewing workers' rights. So, we've really taken that to the next level.
Yes.
But beyond that, if we go and look at spinning mills, for instance, but also dyeing mills, and let alone further down the chain, there's still a lot of work to do. And even though we will not change that tomorrow, by collecting more and more data, we do hope to change that in the years to come, just step by step again.
Yeah. Just to add on that, I think the change has to come from us, the brands.
Yes.
But by asking our factories, by showing our factories that we actually, we value the choices that they have made of putting solar panels on the roof, or going with this dye house that has the newer machines.
Yeah.
But we need to be able to speak out and say, that's why we chose you. We chose you because you have taken the steps in this direction. And then the factories that are missing out on these orders, they will see why, and it will push them eventually to do the same.
Yeah.
And I think for me, that's the goal with tex.tracer, that we gather all the data and make it visible to so many people. And then our behavior patterns
can promote the change.
Exactly. Because, we can say it, but if we don't, if the money don't follow what we say, it has zero impact. I'm sorry to say, because the impact will not come from the changes will not come from the suppliers. No. It comes from us.
Yes.
They do what we ask them to do, basically.
Exactly. And this is so important. And it's the same with, we bring that to the consumer, for instance, also for retailers. Well, we do keep hearing that maybe retailers say, oh, well, I don't get so many questions from consumers. Well, in a way, fair enough. I think we as an industry need to do better. That's where it all starts. And and in the end, let's work on a digital product passport and maybe even a lovely rating which shows more clearly from consumers what they can expect or what's the background of this product. But first and foremost, it's about us changing, and that's what we'd really like to see. And that's where we need, you started with how JBS is always looking to do better. You mentioned it in a different word, but
more than you expect.
More than you expect. And what I really liked about that is that at tex.tracer we also have our values, and obviously is very much about transparency in everything that we do. Yeah. But the second thing is about being progressive, and how we approach being progressive is always asking ourselves, are we doing the best? So it's also about doing better. And so it's a step-by-step approach. And once today we said, oh yeah, we reached what we wanted yesterday, then let's take the next
What's
step.
The next
so even, it's always to do better, because we know that we will not score 10 out of 10 immediately. So it's very much about taking
small steps
on the journey towards a better ecosystem. And it's not easy, and it's going step by step, slowly but steadily.
Yes. Yeah. Yes. Maybe just as a wrap-up question for you, Frank. Obviously, this is a fairly new partnership, so obviously things are not completely in motion, but is there already some value that you can see that you've already extracted from the fact that you have now validated data through tex.tracer?
Definitely. I'm not sure about the validated data yet, but just the fact to onboard factories, partners, and seeing what factories are connected with them. And making that visible to my organization, because before it was hidden away in our CSR team's email or spreadsheet. That is quite valuable. Combining that with a designer sitting there saying, I need to make a t-shirt. It has to have a print on it. I want it to be organic cotton. Now they have a tool where they can easily access, where should I start? Because it's so crucial to start correctly and not start wrongly. So that's one of the gains. The other gain is that we obviously have a lot of certifications. We have a basic requirement. If possible, our factories need to have a social audit. If they don't have it, we can in some cases still accept it by doing our own audits, etc. But social audits, organic certificates, recycle certificates, etc., Oecotex, to have that all in tex.tracer now creates an amazing overview of expire dates, when to act upfront, so you don't act afterwards. Because it's really, really bad to claim an organic product and then you realize, oh, damn it, at the time of shipping it was expired. And this is very basic, but it's a massive value, because then now we have it online, and it's easy accessible for the whole organization, and not just for one or two people in the CSR department. So that's one of the easy takes from where we are now in the partnership.
Anything you'd like to add, Jolanda, as we're wrapping up?
No, I think really it's all about changing the fashion ecosystem step by step, and we're really excited to be on this journey here with Frank and the team, and showing more. And even though that's more on the background, also for retailers listening to this. But yeah, you may be rest assured that that we're working on it to get things improved.
Lovely. Thank you for a good conversation.
Thank
you for coming. Thank you for taking the time. And I wish you a lovely rest of the day.
Thank you so much. Pleasure.
Thanks again.
Thank you.